Welcome back to Athletic Everyday, day number 189. This was just a sprinting and bounding day. Bearing in mind that I've just noticed some sort of strain in my quadriceps tendon, I'm going to avoid anything that's going to sort of require deep range of knee flexion or like excessive amounts of deep range of knee flexion. So probably going to have to stop front squatting for a couple of weeks. I'm also going to either dial back or massively reduce the volume on vertical jump just for dunking. But what that does mean is that I'm going to be able to just really overload and do as many sprints as I can, because sprinting, you don't get into that much deep range of knee flexion. Same with bounding. It's not really loading the anterior chain that much because you're not going into that deep range of knee flexion. I mean, it does load the hip flexors, but in terms of knee flexion, there's not much, and you're mostly just loading the posterior chain, hamstrings, glutes, calves. So I'm actually excited for this phase because I'm going to treat it as kind of like a deload, and I'm looking forward to it because it just means that it's going to give my body a chance to recover from all of the load of power cleans. Maybe I can incorporate some hang cleans and some sort of like low volume cleans, low intensity cleans as a deload, but I think for the most part, I'm just going to stick with high intensity sprinting, minimum effective dose. So today I decided that for the warm up, I would set the cones like 30 yards / meters apart. I don't really measure it out. I usually just take long strides and then count to 30. And that usually does the trick for distance wise for me. But I did end up dialing it back to 15 yards for the bounds and then 20 yards for the sprints. So it was actually a fun session though. It's nice to be out on the grass. As I always talk about this, every time I get the opportunity to work out on the grass, it's when it's really sunny in the summer. It's really warm. It's just such a fantastic mood booster. Makes you feel really good. Been busy at work all day today as well, doing manual labor again. But it felt good to do this workout. Wasn't feeling too tired for it. And considering that, my quadriceps tendon is starting to flare up a little bit. It has flared up in the past from doing high volume jumps and squats. I didn't feel it at all today when I was doing these sprints, which is a good sign because it just lends credence to the theory that you can sprint and do bounding when your knees are a little bit sore. So that's some advice for you guys that are suffering from patellar tendonitis or quadriceps tendonitis or any kind of tendinopathy of the knee, or like knee pain that comes from deep knee flexion, or even like shallow knee flexion. You can generally do sprints and bounding for the most part without aggravating that problem for you because you're pushing yourself horizontally rather than vertically. And so it shouldn't exacerbate that issue. So here are some fun variations that I did on the sprints. So for those of you that remember last couple of sessions, I did do some backflips, but I was facing the wrong way. So I decided to face the same way, flip, and then just go straight away. Much smoother transition between the flip and the sprint this time. And then I also did some knee up into sprints as well. These were really fun as well because I was sort of bouncing into that position, and I also was able to alternate which foot I land with first. With the backflip, it's a little bit more difficult because you can't really, when you do a backflip, decide unless you get a lot of practice in, you can't really decide which way you're going to split your feet and then go. But with the knee up, because there's a bit more time to decide, you can jump and split and go. A little bit more disorienting when you're doing a flip and then trying to go, I'm going to split this way, left, right first, or right, left first. But yeah, definitely facing the same way when I do the backflip helped me to have a lot more of a smooth transition. And then lastly, just finished up with some accessories. I did 2 supersets of 15 reps with bent leg calf raises, soleus calf raises, and tibialis raises. Nice little lower leg superset. It's a good little setup here as well, where I set up the bar on the bench and then the tibialis bar like that. 15 kilos on the tib bar, and then that is 100 kilos on the barbell for the bent leg calf raises. Really nice pump in the lower leg, and this also made my knee feel a lot better afterwards. And then once I finished these 15 reps, I did this twice through. And once I finished these 15 reps, I then moved into some knee isometrics, because that is probably the number one thing you should be doing if you're experiencing knee pain in the quadriceps tendon. There's me slapping my tibs to make sure I felt the pump. So here is one variation of a knee isometric that you can do. I was inspired by Isaiah Rivera for this one. But essentially all I'm trying to do is press my feet as hard as I can into the ground, and then from there, just hold in that position for 45 seconds. Ended up doing this for a total of 3 sets of 45, and that was pretty much it for me. Knees are feeling a lot better after this workout. So hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you guys in the next one.